All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon, and in this video, we're going to talk about one of the best young fighters in the world, actually one of the best fighters in the world, Jaron Boots Ennis, and his team's response to what Terence Bud Crawford had to say about fighting him, and lets him know in certain terms, if you're your own boss, why ain't you fighting me? Let's talk about that in this video. All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon, and in this video, we're going to be in the 147-pound division, but we are not going to be talking about Errol Spence Jr. at all. We are going to be talking about Jaron Ennis out of the great boxing city of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, one of the top young fighters in the world, and in my opinion, one of the best fighters in the world. If I was really into doing pound for pound conversations, which I'm not because they're completely hypothetical, I very well may put that man on there based off what I've seen him do in the ring just at this point in time in his career. Other people can tell me that I'm wrong, and you have the right to tell me that I'm wrong. No worries. However, I think over time, my statement will be vindicated, and hopefully we'll get a chance to see that, but we know who we're not going to get a chance to see that with, and that is Terence Crawford. Now, before I get into the rest of the discussion, let me welcome you back to the channel. If you're a longtime subscriber and supporter, specifically right now, I want to say to Deborah Booker, it was great seeing you in the live stream. I hope you're doing well. Wonderful to see you. I know what you was going through, and prayers out for you. Keep strong, stay strong. Now, if you're not subscribed to the channel or part of the boxing community we got going on here, please make sure that you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, so you can be notified of when we release more videos. Now, let's get to this. Terence Crawford gave a speech about the fight with Errol Spence Jr. and why it fell through, and he specifically addressed some criticism that he received about why he did not, if he's fighting David Avancian, why wouldn't you fight a tougher competition, somebody like Jaron Ennis or Virgil Ortiz, a young Mexican-American fighter, fights out of Dallas, Texas, is a Golden Boy fighter who I do believe is ranked #1 by the WBO. And Terence Crawford's answer to that was their names never came up. Now, somehow though, David Avancian's name came up, who is ranked who I do believe now is ranked at #6 in the WBO. Now, he's ranked #6 in the WBO. However, I do believe that both Virgil Ortiz and Jaron Ennis are both in the top 3. So Terence did not fight for any of the 3 major belts. He did not fight either of the 2 available fighters that were ranked immediately below him, or 2 of the 3 fighters that are ranked right below him. He goes and fights David Avancian. And again, his explanation is that those names never came up. What if they had come up? Is a reasonable question. What if they had come up? Because his name has come up a lot in boxing circles all the time. It's Jaron Ennis, Jaron Ennis, Jaron Ennis. And it's not just me, it's all over the place, because the kid is because that man is an exceptional fighter and is definitely in line to become your mandatory with the WBO. Now, Virgil Ortiz is a little bit ahead of him. Now, Bozy Ennis, well, first of all, both Bozy Ennis, who is the trainer and father of Jaron Ennis, and Jaron Ennis commented on it. Jaron Ennis was said, hey man, what do you think about, and shout out to YSM Media, YSM Sports Media. They did the interview. Got to give credit to them for doing the interview and asking the question. They asked Jaron, what do you think about it? And, what would you have been available to take that fight if they had called you? And Jaron Ennis says, I would have taken that Terence Crawford bout in a heartbeat. And Bozy Ennis went so far, said the same thing, but went so far as to say, look, man, if you say you're your own boss, that means that's your decision. Then fight us. Don't fight David Avancian. Fight us. Now, why? Now, Terence Crawford says the name never came up. All right, that's a very, very convenient. It may be true that the name never came up. I don't know, like, who was supposed to bring it up, though, exactly, is what I would like to ask. However, did you ever bring it up? Did you ever say, hey, man, I want to fight nothing but the best. I can't get this Terence. I can't get Errol Spence. Look, David Avancian is not a tough competition for me at all. Bring me somebody that is a really tough competition, which is something Errol Spence Jr. has been saying. Look, I don't need tune-ups. I don't need to get my feet wet with regular folk. I can get my feet wet with the best competition out there. Did Terence Crawford do that? Apparently he did not. Now, the practical reason, however, that Terence Crawford is not going to fight Jaron Ennis next is because that man right there is a very, very dangerous fight for him that he very well may lose. Now, Virgil Ortiz, I think there's a chance that Terence Crawford can lose that fight, but the chance it's not the biggest. I would say with Virgil Ortiz, and this is my opinion, obviously, Virgil Ortiz, I say the chance of Terence Crawford getting upset is somewhere in the low, maybe the high single digits, 8, 9, 10%. I mean, 8, 9%. I would probably say he's a 92 to 8 favorite, in my opinion, over Virgil Ortiz. Looking at the way Virgil Ortiz fights, looking at his kind of come forward style and how Terence Crawford fights, I would give a huge advantage over Terence Crawford over Virgil Ortiz. However, when you're talking about Jaron Ennis, I would say I might give Jaron Ennis 55-45 to beat Terence Crawford. And the reason that I say that is because of the size, the length, the skill, the versatility that Jaron Ennis has, and the fact that pretty much every strength that Terence Crawford has, Virgil Ortiz, with the exception of experience, Jaron Ennis probably has a little bit more of all of that. The arm reach, the arm length of Terence Crawford is a big advantage, even over welterweights. Not an advantage over Jaron Ennis. His size, not an advantage over Jaron Ennis. His speed, at a disadvantage against Jaron Ennis. His ability to switch orthodox and southpaw and give you different looks. Jaron Ennis is a look a minute. Like, he's a look a minute. He can fight on the inside, he can fight in mid-range, and he can fight on the outside. Where I do believe Terence Crawford's best position is on the outside and at mid-range, and likes to catch people with shots coming in, where I think that more than likely the youth of Terence Crawford is going to make that be very difficult. I mean, the youth of Jaron Ennis is going to make that a little bit more difficult to pull off with Jaron Ennis. Now, not just to say for everybody, oh, you're beating up on Terence Crawford all the time. Man, it is what it is. This is what I think. I am going to tell you, though, dead honestly, I don't like that David Avancian fight. Avancian, I don't like it at all. Avicinian, whatever his name is. Avancian, I do not like that. I do not like that David Avancian fight. That is, in my opinion, as a boxing fan, a complete and utter waste of time. If that bout goes 5 rounds, I'm going to call Bud washed up. I mean it. That bout with David Avancian should not go 3 rounds. He should be able to get in there, dispatch that guy, and keep it moving. With the style of fight that Terence Crawford has and his ability to catch people when he wants to, when he gets them hurt, go in there and finish them off. If this bout goes, I swear, if this bout goes 9 rounds, I'm going to say he carried him. And I'm wondering whether or not people are gambling on the over and under. But is it going to happen for Jaron Ennis? In the words of Andre Ward, probably not. Those guys are a different, what do you say? These are a different generation of fighters. Those guys are looking at Jaron like he's the young, hungry guy, and he's gonna have to do what he does. At that point, with these guys that are his age, we're not gonna go back and fight those young, hungry dogs. That's what I would believe about Terence Crawford. Errol, I'm not so sure, because that man is he'll do something that I think is dumb. I'm just going to be honest with you. I understand exactly what Andre Ward is saying in that regard, what Sean Porter said in that regard, what other people said in that regard. But Errol Spence Jr. to me really does seem like the type of dude that is going to be like, no, if that guy is there and he's got the belts, or he has a belt and I want that belt, I'm going to go fight that guy. If he winds up being his mandatory and he stays there, he's probably not going to duck the mandatory. He's probably going to take him. However, in this situation, Terence Crawford, Errol Spence Jr.'s mandatory with Jaron Ennis is probably going to be backed off at least a year and a half, at which point in time he would have already fought Terence Crawford or left the division, or he would have gone to 154 pounds. I don't know when Terence Crawford is going to go to 154 pounds. And if he stays at 147 pounds, it needs to be Jaron Ennis or Virgil Ortiz, maybe Keith Thurman if Errol Spence Jr. doesn't already dispatch of Keith Thurman. But anyway, that's my take on the matter. You let me know what you think in the comments section. And with that, I'm out. Peace.